What is artificial intelligence? Google, whose definition comes from lexico.com, defines it as the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence. Merriam-Webster gives us two definitions, the second being the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. Looking more into it, Wikipedia, every teacher's favorite site, says, in video games, AI is used to generate responsive, adaptive, or intelligent behaviors primarily in NPCs similar to human-like intelligence. Ever since episode 2, I've hinted at implementing AI into Codename iDungeon. I underestimated the sheer complexity of it all, and after learning some lessons about managing code, I've finally tackled this challenge. Like many of the features I implement into my game, I first did some time researching how other people created an AI system in GameMaker. Back in January of this year, I took a few weeks to make a simple little space shooter. This little project was my first where I experimented with some form of AI, and while the movement of the enemy ships is predictable, it was a big step for me. With some research and a little bit of prior knowledge, I was finally able to begin implementing AI, and I had the perfect little test subject, Mr. Zombie. The first objective in my AI system was to create idle and roaming states. Yes, I said states. These were useless and didn't work out with the player, but they are perfect for AI. I then got right to work on programming movement, but it was a little wonky. With a little ironing out, I fixed it and moved on to animations. Pre-calc. Something high school students claim is useless. Well, as it turns out, your high school is actually teaching you something that you can use. Wow! Animations for AI required applying them based on the direction the entity is facing and moving. And what does direction involve? Angles. And what can help us with that? That's right, the unit circle. Using this helped me establish a point of reference for applying animations, and this came in handy for movement when the zombie is mindlessly roaming and chasing the player. Now it was time to focus on something more deadly. At first, the zombie's attack wasn't limited by a cooldown. This meant that being hit by him meant certain death. Well, it seemed like the player was alive, but the player was actually losing so much health that the value was negative. My code is supposed to correct this, but the barrage from the zombie ensured that it couldn't. I added a cooldown to the zombie, and now this little bug is squashed. While I worked on a system of quote-unquote pathfinding, I decided not to showcase it due to how awful it is. This system can drastically be improved, so I'm not even going to touch on it in this video. What I will touch on is new enemies. Now our Mr. Zombie friend doesn't have to be alone. I added a skeleton, a smarter and faster enemy compared to the zombie, but he is weaker. When I say smarter, I mean smarter. The zombie is an enemy that you can distract with bombs, and they also go after this little dummy right here, but the skeleton won't. The smartest and most dangerous of them all is the mage. This enemy will shoot projectiles at you, and he has a special attack which will summon skeletons. This special attack animation is based off of an unused player animation, and will only be used by the mage as his last resort as it lowers his health. Before we get into the last segment of this video, let me explain some of the technical changes that have been implemented. First off, the demo levels have been polished since their appearance in GDO Extra. I've also removed particle caps as they were causing too many bugs. The weapons that the player can hold now have a showcase icon. There are now basic menus in the game for changing resolution and whatnot. There is full screen support for 1080p, 1440p, and 4K resolutions, and support for 16:10 and 1:1 aspect ratios. Now let's get into the final segment. Welcome guys to the final segment of Game Devlog episode 6. I'm gonna kind of change up this little webcam segment a bit because I am gonna talk to you about items in my game. So basically, items in my game are gonna be found in chests and stuff, and this is the first rough implementation of implementing an item randomizer. But here we are in the game. Here are all these chests, and I'm going to showcase the final little implementation of this. So, as you can see, I open up this chest, I get a coin. In this chest, I get some arrows. In this chest, I get a bomb, well, some bombs, another coin, and another coin. Coins seem to be very common. In my game, I have what's called a RNG system, a random number generation, and as you can see when I open these chests, the RNG values change, and this little RNG timer also ensures that they change. And so that's what generates these random items. As you can see, last time I got 3 coins. This time it seems I got 3 piles of bombs. So that's basically the item system. And now I'm going to show you some of the nerdy code that kind of makes it work. So the item system, this is a work in progress, so this is all subject to change. But basically, what this item system does is it can have an indexed item, which right now is just a coin. That's the default, so I can easily just place it in a level and forget about it. And then there are some variables that deal with physics. GameMaker has a physics system, but I really don't want something that's really gonna, simulate accurate physics. All I want the item to do is like it did when it popped off the dummy and popped out of the chest, just whoop. That's all I want it to do. Another thing is weapons. This was actually stored inside the player, but I decided to store it in like an item manager. And basically these are all the weapons in the game. Ignore this EE test. I'm pretty sure I removed that weapon. And then there's another enumerator for just items. So like this is like weapons that you can hold, and the weapons you see in the item enumerator, the weapons you see in here are like physical items. Now, you might be wondering what makes it change up sprites depending on what item is, in this indexed item. Well, let me take you on over to this. Now, this is a switch statement. It's a little thing in programming, and I hear it's more efficient than in like a bunch of if and else if statements. I hear it's more efficient, and once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy, so never be intimidated by these. Basically, it's basically like saying, yo, I need this indexed item, and this is like, yo, if this is a coin, if the case is that this item is a coin, then you're going to want to display this sprite on the item manager object. And then it does the same for bombs, arrows, the helmet. These are basically all the items I have basically implemented right now, but I will be adding more in the future. Lastly, this is taken into account when it collides with the player. So in the event that the coin collides with the player, it's going to destroy the coin, and it's going to add 1 to the player's coin count. If we go into, let's go into the health potion, because this is one of the first that I added. As you can see, it's like, yo, if this is a health potion, if the item touching the player is a health potion, then we're going to run this code. And basically this is like, if the player's health is below the max health, -3, it's going to add 3. If it's, just under the max health, but like 2 under, it's going to add 2. And if it's under the max health, -1, it's just going to give the player max health. So that's just a little system I've implemented into the game. I plan to flush it out along with AI. This is basically it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm really proud to have AI in my game, and next episode is probably going to be about an item system, and we're going to be a lot closer to beta then, so I'm going to have to start thinking about beta. I'm going to have to start thinking long and hard. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Took a few weeks to make a simple little space shooter. This little project